The sitting Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, went on national television and named 2 federal judges. She didn't accuse them of breaking the law. She didn't say they violated ethics rules. She said they were biased political activists and should be removed because they ruled against Donald Trump. That was the argument out loud on camera. While her own Justice Department was already facing criticism for being politicized, what followed was not the win she thought it would be. She had just come out of a tense congressional hearing where things were already boiling over.
We've been watching a congressional hearing erupt into shouting matches. Attorney General Pam Bondi has been defiant and explosive as she fields questions from members of the House Judiciary Committee, and it's happening on multiple fronts and multiple controversies, including the Justice Department's release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. First, just watch this exchange with Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal.
It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness gets to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't like the answer. So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't she ask Merrick Garland this twice?
I'm reclaiming my time, and when I reclaim my time, it is
Mr. Chairman, the gentlelady has reclaimed her time.
I'm not going to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
There was also this moment when Congresswoman Jayapal asked Jeffrey Epstein survivors who are in the room to raise their hands if they haven't been able to meet with the Justice Department. Every one of them raised their hands. Now, Bondi did acknowledge in her opening statement the victims, and she said she's deeply sorry for what they've been through and that the FBI wants to hear from them. Over the last 2 hours, it has been very clear that the Attorney General was speaking to an audience of one. Lots of moments like this.
Robert Mueller found no evidence, none, of foreign interference in 2016. Have you apologized to President Trump? Have you apologized to President Trump, all of you who participated in those impeachment hearings against Donald Trump? You all should be apologizing. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer. Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out of
he's
over
listed as a co-conspirator.
4,700, and we invited you in.
Show the video.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get, you're a failed politician.
Survivors of Jeffrey Epstein were standing behind her. Lawmakers were accusing the Justice Department of mishandling transparency. There was shouting, interruptions, and personal insults. It was tense. It was emotional. It was political. And instead of cooling things down afterward, Bondi went straight on to Fox News and turned the temperature up even higher. She specifically named Judge Beryl Howell and Judge James Boasberg. She said they were biased. She suggested they should be removed. Her reasoning: they ruled against Trump in cases involving him. Federal judges are appointed for life specifically, so they can rule without worrying about political pressure. You can disagree with their decisions. You can appeal them. That's how the system works. But calling for their removal because they ruled the wrong way, that's something very different. Now, here's another moment from the broader hearing coverage that shows just how much pressure was already building before she made those comments.
Morning to you. That hearing happened before the House Oversight Committee. Some of Jeffrey Epstein's survivors were in the audience, but that hearing turned into one that was light on the specifics and heavy on theatrics. 84 days after Congress passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act, Attorney General Pam Bondi appeared before Congress defending the Justice Department's Epstein investigation.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me, I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No.
Democrats and Republican Congressman Thomas Massie told Attorney General Bondi DOJ has not made public all the information it has on Epstein.
This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn.
Democrats accused Bondi of preparing for the hearing with a burn book referencing a binder with insults for lawmakers.
With this anti-Semitic culture right now, she voted against a resolution condemning.
Oh,
is
Are you serious?
Gentleman
talking
from
about
South
anti-Semitism
Carolina.
to a woman who lost her grandfather in the Holocaust? Really?
Bondi argued the Department of Justice is reducing crime and delivering wins for the American people.
401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. In 2025, we saw the lowest murder rate in 125 years. That's nothing short of historic.
And Bondi told members of the House Oversight Committee the Department of Justice did the best it could to release and redact those files in the 30-day window that Congress prescribed for the Epstein file release. She says so far the Department of Justice has released more than 3 million pages of documents on it.
So that's the backdrop. Accusations of a cover-up, survivors demanding answers, and lawmakers accusing her of politicizing the Department of Justice. And then, after all that, she goes on national television and attacks sitting federal judges for ruling against Trump. Do you see why critics immediately said this backfired? Because if your department is under fire for being too political, and your response is to publicly target judges who issue rulings you don't like, you're not disproving the accusation. You're reinforcing. Here's the question that never really got asked in that TV interview. If a judge is biased simply because they ruled against Trump, then what would an unbiased ruling look like? In Bondi's framework, it seems like the only acceptable ruling is one that goes in Trump's favor. But that's not how courts work. Judges don't swear loyalty to a president. They swear loyalty to the Constitution. And sometimes that means ruling against whoever is in power. And here's where it gets bigger than just one administration. If it becomes normal for an attorney general to call for removing judges because they rule the wrong way, that standard doesn't just apply today. The next administration can use it too. And the one after that. Once that door opens, it doesn't close easily. The judges she named are still on the bench. The cases are still moving forward. The rulings will still be appealed and reviewed through the normal legal process. That's the system doing what it's designed to do. Let me know what you think.